Raptors lose 132-125 to the Oklahoma City Thunder and the referees, of course, because why not? A big game against a big team. The referees can't just, let teams play, or they can't be actually consistent. We'll get to that whole spiel in a second. First quarter, not the greatest defensively for the Raptors. They're cooking offensively. They score 40. However, Raptors, they do a great job offensively. 34 put up. We're only down by 6. A nice 4-point second quarter. The defense really tightened up against their bench. Obviously not as good as our bench. 30-26 in favor of the Raptors there. You're only stuck 2 at the half. A nice third quarter. You score 34 again. You give up 31, but this time you are +1. If my math is correct, you're up 6. Yeah. You're up by 1 after 3 quarters of play. Okay. But then we go to the fourth quarter. And this is where things start to get fishy. Because Kyle Lowry's fouls are starting to build up. We'll get to that in a second. Teams go back and forth. Beautiful job by CJ. I love what he did on Patrick Patterson, former Toronto Raptor, of course. Just throws it down. You thinking the 3? Of course. But drives and throws it down with authority. Same with Siakam late in the game. And with a few minutes left, things start to get funky. Lowry gets called for, I guess it was a legal screen. I mean, there was not much contact. The guy kind of flew out of the way. Anyways, Kyle Lowry fouls out. We'll get to that in a jiffy. I want to break that down a little bit more. And with about 30 seconds left, I think they take a 4-point lead. DeMar, Serge, and Coach Casey all get thrown out. Is this the Blue Jays versus Kansas City back in 2015? It's a joke. The officiating is a joke. The fouls were a joke. Everything about the I hate bashing officials in this game. Why? Because everything's going so fast and everybody's so nitpicky about it, and it's so tough to see. I get that. But when there are blatant things, like Siakam getting wrapped and not being able to move. Oh, but wait, who was it that wrapped him up? Oh, yeah, that's why it didn't get called. It's Carmelo Anthony. That's why. That should not be the case. He wraps him up. That's a foul. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter who it is. And then DeMar DeRozan, right at the end of the game, looking to tie the game, gets fouled. That layup he tries to get late. How many times have we seen DeMar go up with that roll like it's already going in? We know that it's easy. It's just a nice, easy lay-in. But he gets fouled in the play, but the referee's like, no, that's clean, play on. Now, one person I want to bash. Mark Davis. I hate picking on referees, but this guy deserved it. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, Mark Davis threw out Serge, DeMar, and Coach Casey in a matter of what? Less than a minute? He's like, yep, you're gone. Oh, yeah, you want to talk? Yeah, you're gone. Coach, you want to chirp? You're out of here too. Buddy, you're gone. Like, honestly, having the referees dictate the final stages of a game is a joke. It's sad. And before, I said I wanted to get back to the whole Kyle Lowry situation. You know who called 5 of the 6 Kyle Lowry fouls? You guessed it right. Mark Davis again. Now, some people say, well, it just happened that way. There's no way he calls 5 of the 6 fouls and throws all 3 guys out. That does not happen. The calls were atrocious all game long. If you look at the fouls, in general, yes, only 1 off. But you look at the free throws. How many times did they get to the line other than the Raptors? Well, we got to the line 23 times. We were 18 of 23, 78%. That's a very good percentage. They got to the line 34 times. 11 more attempts. I wonder why. But I just hate how down the stretch, and you heard DeMar after the game saying, and amen to this, my brother. Amen to this. How, we feel like we have to play tougher because we know we're not going to get the calls. And as Raptor fans, we get frustrated when we don't get the calls, but then we think to ourselves, oh wait, yeah, we're in Canada, we're the only Canadian team, we're the Raptors, so we get this when this happens to us. And it's sad to think that way. I hate thinking this way. But when it's blatantly obvious, it's not very difficult to find. And I said right off the top, Raptors lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And yes, the OKC did play a very solid game, and it was a back and forth game. But down the stretch, in the final minute, the referee, or in the last 30 seconds, the referees last few minutes, the refs decided who was going to win this game. Tight game. Lowry, there's your 6 fouls. Have a good night. 30 seconds left. Big defensive possession for the Raptors. Serge, DeMar, Coach Casey, have a good night. Are you nuts? If you're trying to find positives, the Raptors shot 57% from the field, 50% from 3. Like I said earlier, almost 80% from the free throw line. The Raptors shot a great percentage, 125 points, but you give them 132. The defense wasn't so great in this game. 31 assists for the Raptors. But again, it's the non-calls. Any great positives today, we're seeing JV only had 10 points. Kyle, 22 points, 10 assists. And you see how big of an impact he was making in the game. 7 of 10 shooting, 5 of 7 from 3, and then you fire him out of the game. Tells me everything I need to know. DeMar had 24 on 8 of 18 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3. I mean, he was a minus 21 on the floor. So whether he shot a great percentage or not, he was when he was on the floor, they were abysmal. The bench did their thing. DeLon with 15, CJ Miles with 15, Siakam with 10. They did what they do best. Great work from Lucas Nogueira in his 6 minutes of work. 5 points, 5 boards, lots of energy. Great to see there. But that's not what we care about right now. It's the officiating. And I am sick and tired of the Raptors getting screwed over against these big teams because superstar driven and we're the only team north of the border. Now, I know that's all the conspiracy theory, and that could be a bunch of garbage, a bunch of hooey. But this game, please tell me why it went the way it did. Well, on Kyle, that was a clear as day foul. Okay, well, what about the other ones, huh? What about the wrap on Carmelo on Siakam, huh? What about the foul on DeMar late in the game, huh? Yeah. Now, were there probably calls the other way that didn't go their way? Well, maybe. But it's the crunch time calls that are blatantly obvious and the stupid shenanigans by the referees that make this a mockery of the NBA. It's a joke. It's sad. Somebody's got to look at this and change something because it's a joke. I know you guys are frustrated. I am too, because we could have had a franchise record victory, but instead, the striped shirts, they take over, and they have to get escorted from the building with security guards. I wonder why. Because they know, the security guards know, that this is a whole bunch of hooey. Alright, I think I'm done bashing the refs for a night. That's going to be a great one to sleep on, and I think this is a great game to sleep on. Because next up for the Raptors, as we talk about their road to 60 wins, but I mean, it really doesn't matter, really. I mean, if you look at the positive, Celtics lost as well, so you didn't really lose any ground in first place. And then you go and play Orlando in Orlando on Tuesday night. So you have tomorrow off to regroup after this debacle. And then you have Orlando Tuesday night, 7 o'clock tip-off there. Raps looking to get back in the win column there and look for to just get back in the win column, look for win number 53 on the year and go 53-18 so far. So that would be terrific. As much as we're frustrated about this game, you guys can go nuts in the comments how you feel about these refs. If I'm wrong about the whole Mark Davis tossing those 3 guys out, I apologize. But I was pretty sure. That's why I said it, because I was pretty positive about it. But if I was wrong, I apologize to you guys about that. Also, I apologize for the late upload. I mean, I did mention that in the last video, but here we are, and we're back to normal now. Don't you guys worry. So that's gonna do it for this mess, you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, yeah, if you guys hated this game, smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below what you guys think of this game overall, and please go nuts at what happened late in that game. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Break it down. If I missed anything, please let me. I want to hear what you guys have to say, and we'll talk to you guys. What, Tuesday? So a couple days. Podcast. I think it's episode 4. And we got to talk about something like this. I think this is something we got to talk about in the podcast. I'll mention that to Evan as we get closer to that date. But that's something we're going to talk about on Tuesday. Leafs, Raptors, Jays, around the leagues, all that great stuff. Link to the podcast on the podcast channel, boop, in the description below. And link to the Twitter is down in the description, you guys. Also, Jays edition tomorrow. That'll be the only video tomorrow. No Leafs, no Raptors tomorrow. So Blue Jays update. They've been playing great ball as of late. Lots of positives to talk about when it comes to this team. So we'll talk to you guys tomorrow about that stuff. And we'll talk to you guys. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot when the Leafs were playing. You know, they just been playing some pretty good. They've won quite a few games, and they play Tuesday as well. So nothing tomorrow, and then Tuesday, as the Leafs are in Tampa, taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Both Toronto teams, all Toronto teams in Florida. Jays are at spring training. Raptors are heading to Orlando, and the Leafs are taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tuesday night, 7:30 puck drop there. They look to continue their win streak. Leafs look to continue on a roll. And like I said, we'll talk to you guys Raptors edition. That'll be Tuesday as well. Like we said, in Orlando, 7 p.m. tip-off. Raps look to get back in the win column and just take out the frustration on the Orlando Magic. We'll talk to you guys then.